Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Enricher Business Circle, where we believe building a great business and building a great life are not two separate goals, but they are intertwined together. Today's guest has a resume that genuinely stopped me when I actually first read it. He owns his own cleaning authority in Fishers, a business he started and grew from $1.8 million to more than over $4 million in revenue. So, everyone, let's welcome Todd to our show on today. Todd, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here.
So, Todd, to kick off the show, I know I did a brief bio about you, but can you tell our audience more about you and what was your why or your aha moment?
Well, the whole backstory is that I really spent over 30 years in alternative investments, which means hedge funds, private equity, venture capital, working both on the asset manager side and on the service provider, the fund administrator side. Along the way, I built a fund administration company from a startup to 2 billion and was recruited to grow a bank business unit that was a startup again, new unit, and we grew it to $14 billion at the end of the day. What I was doing all along the way, even as I transitioned out of that world into buying the cleaning company and starting my consulting company, is I was always working with the culture.
Okay.
We always have all of the same tools, all of the same technology and AI available to us. With the only limiting factor there is our budget. So how can we place ourselves ahead of the competition? And it's by tapping into the people side of it that is oftentimes really overlooked by many companies. And so many employees out there feel unseen, unheard, unvalued, and their performance reflects that. They're getting the job done. They're living for their paycheck on Friday. If we can release their commitment and get them to perform at a much higher level, then all of a sudden, what happens is the business grows faster. Customers stay longer. There's less turnovers. Additions of new customers increase revenues faster. Operating expenses drop because we keep staff that is knowledgeable, experienced. They don't make mistakes. They get it done faster. There's real math behind this, a real compelling reason to want to do this.
I love it, especially with embracing the culture because it actually helps you to reduce your churn rate in a company. And what I've noticed when it comes to startups, the churn rate with startups are extremely high versus older companies um who have kind of had the years of experience to reduce some of the offset of the churn rate.
That really is a challenge for so many new businesses. They're working so hard to acquire those customers and
Mhm.
then losing them just about as fast. And it's not why we went into business. We went into business because we wanted freedom. We wanted to be able to live the life the way we want to live it on our terms, and we wanted to have the money to do that. And then the third thing that is usually in the back of our minds is I want to build something that lasts. I want to build something that I can sell or pass on to family when I'm done with it.
So is that your inspiration behind stepping into franchise ownership?
I dove into franchise ownership because I was at a crossroads personally.
Mhm.
My position had ended March 6, 2020, right ahead of the lockdowns for the pandemic. And I discovered the business was available on a business broker website. I bought it and I started the transformation that got it from 1.8 million to 4 million. And then along the way, I won Franchisee of the Year twice.
Oh,
First time
wow.
from the International Franchise Association. They flew me out to San Diego to accept the award. And then a second time from the franchisor. Everybody kept saying, why does what you do, as simple as it seems, work so well? And it was really all about the culture and getting the people to care when they did the work.
Mm. So could you
Every
walk us through what that looked like of going from 1.8 million in a franchise organization to doing over 4 million?
yes, it's comes down to three things, and let me tell you the story about creating a caring and a positive and a culturally competent workplace.
Hmm.
So when I walked in the door, there was high turnover. The environment honestly was toxic. The customers were leaving about as fast as we were getting new customers. The cleaners weren't staying very long. So we changed the way we talk to the cleaners. We changed the language that we use. We stopped saying no and don't and threatening consequences. We started telling them what we needed them to do, what the customers asked for, and we showed them what the rewards were for doing that. We went through a skeptical period, lasted about 6 weeks. But once the first couple of teams started earning the bonuses, everybody wanted to be a part of it. And the transformation was almost overnight. All of these morning meetings, lecturing a team about what they did wrong yesterday, gone. Haven't done that in years. Tore down all the signs that said no and don't and certain consequences and put up posters that said, here's the rewards you can get when the customer tells us we did a good job. Here's the additional rewards you get when the customer leaves us a Google review that's positive. It became so easy to run the business. The cleaners come in, they get their equipment, they pick up their papers, their supplies, and they're off for the day. All the phone calls from customers complaining about what we didn't do right or what we did wrong or what we broke, almost completely gone. Yes, I'd like to say that we never break something and we never miss anything, but that's just, it's people working for people. And that still does happen. And we shot up in revenue, and our Google reviews shot up from under 200 to over 1,200 Google reviews.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
when I say culturally competent, most people think, oh, let me see, that must have something to do with culture. It must have something to do with country you come from, language you speak. Yes, those are parts of it, but culture is much bigger than that. How do we talk to each other? Do we see each other when we talk? Do we hear what each other is saying? Do we care about it? What do we do when somebody has a problem? Because that happens in everybody's life. People get sick, cars break down. There's something going on with the children that needs to be taken care of, or parents. But when we create the space for them to solve their problems, when they come back to work, they bring their heart and they care about the work they do. And that every single day beats the competition.
So when it comes to culture or when it comes to growing internally in a business and making sure that your business is not a toxic place, what would you tell a business owner who's currently going through the process of having very high turnover and low morale in the company or even have internal fighting? What is the first thing they should focus on to try to remove the toxic aspect of things?
It starts at the top.
Hmm.
The expression about the tone at the top, there's so much truth to that.
Hmm.
Self-examination. How do we as leaders of our companies feel about our people who work for us? Are they some who's valued? Are they people who can bring good ideas and solutions,
Mhm.
and that we want to hear those ideas? We want to welcome those solutions. Or do we feel as like they are misbehaving children that have to be managed all the time? You can't trust them. Attitude toward employees is going to really drive culture. This,
So more so of not being in a space of micromanagement, but having it a space where people can be innovative and add to the company versus locking everything in.
it's yes. So to put it in even simpler terms, it's the difference between telling them what to do, how to do it step by step, when to do it, where to do it, what tools to use, or saying, you're smart people, you know the job.
Mhm.
This is the result that we want. Please get us to that result. The
Yeah.
way they do it is going to be different than if I tell them step by step what to do.
I love that because I feel like there is this culture that's being birthed that you have to be more of a micromanager with because it's like I can have like SOPs of how to get stuff done and it's like you have to be like okay they're like so what's next and I'm like be creative be in you don't have to do it exactly the way I have.
No, you don't have to. When in processes where it is critical that certain steps be followed, yes, that's because those processes require that. What we're trying to tap into is we're trying to tap into the real creativity. We're, we want the whole person to come to work and bring their ideas and bring their solutions.
So let's transition. Could you tell us more about your Silver Sun Consulting company?
It has two sides to it.
Okay.
It is the same message. From the public speaking stage, I teach everything to large groups in those formats, ranging from keynote speeches to leading sessions, training. On the consulting side, that's working directly with business owners to implement everything I'm talking about. And I do it by fixing their operations. And as we fix the way their operations work, implementing the culture that gives them success and beats out the competition. So usually I start working from the front end through to the back end, looking at their marketing and their pricing and everything. And then I work through operations and all the way through to retention.
So I know you talked about being on different stages and ways of implementation from one side of the company. So as a TEDx speaker and author, you clearly deeply thought about how communication and messaging play an important part of a lot of things. What is the idea or belief that you find yourself mm, having to convince most business owners of the most when they're resisting certain things and in your implementation side?
There's two areas that are the big challenges. The one of them is getting them to actually let go of things and let the
Mhm.
people that they hire do
Okay.
what they're capable of doing. That's, there's a certain amount of trust that a person has to let go of a task, especially when it's their company and their name is on the door. And the second thing is to see these people as something that is valuable, and they are intelligent, they're creative. That changes the whole script from I have to micromanage, I have to dictate step by step what to do,
Mhm.
to actually letting them do what they're capable of doing. It's a cultural flip. We're trained to micromanage people, really, in the world we live in. We're told that we have to check and review and double check everything.
Awesome. So I want us to take the time to dive into our rapid fire questions. So when I ask a question, you just answer the first one that you think will be the best answer. And there are a total of 6 questions for this rapid fire. So question number one, finance career or franchise career, which one taught you the most about leadership?
Franchise,
Okay, question number two, one number every home service business should be tracking, but many aren't.
turnover. What's in clients and in staff?
What is the best leadership book you've ever read?
Randy Commissar's The Monk and the Riddle.
Now, finish this sentence. The businesses that grow the fastest are the ones that
That trust their employees and let them do what they're capable of doing.
MBA or CPA, which credential has served you better in business?
The CPA.
And the last one is, what does enriched means to you?
Enrich to me is more than money. It's having a lifestyle that goes with the business, being able to live the way you want to, where you want to, and how you want to.
Awesome. Well, Todd, thank you so much for being a part of today's show. And I definitely love how you are embracing the culture. And when we're saying culture, we're not talking about just the community outside of the business, but internally and how we build relationships with our employees. And this conversation is definitely proof that you don't have to choose between building a profitable business and building one that genuinely actually cares about people. And I think a lot of people get held up and they put profit over people versus people over profit sometimes, and not knowing that there is a median of the two. And you basically have done both at every scale from billions in assets to a home service franchise, and consistency says everything. But before we wrap up, I want to hand the platform over to you so that you can tell our listeners more about where they can find you, learn more about your consulting company, and start a conversation with you about the real substantial growth process that could really enhance their businesses.
So go to www.silversunconsulting.com. Sun is SUN. Feel free to peruse the media page, the blogs, but on the About page, you'll find my bio, my email address, and a phone number that rings right here. Use it. Call me. You didn't start your business to be your business's most important employee, and you certainly didn't start it to have little or no cash flow. If you're stuck in any of those situations, call us. We'll help you fix it.
Awesome. And to everyone who is listening, if you are running a business and feeling the weight of doing it all yourself, burning out and burning through your team and wondering if growth has ever felt such a hard massive obstacle for you, then Ty just gave you the answer is it doesn't have to always be about profit first. It's people first, profit follows. And before you go, if this episode was substantial for you today and gave you a new way of thinking about growing your business, I have one small task. Take 60 seconds and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It doesn't cost a thing, but it means everything. It's how more entrepreneurs find our show. Just search Enricher Business Circle on Apple Podcasts, tap the stars, and leave a few words. I read every single one, and I am ever so grateful for all of the reviews that we have received thus far. So make sure you hit it and make sure that you're not missing in any episode. Make sure you subscribe as well. And until next time, stay enriched.